And right now in Houston, Texas, it is CERA week. CERA is Cambridge Energy Research Associates. Yahoo Finance's Jackie DeAngelis is live at the event with Tom Closa, Global Head of Energy Analysis at OPIS. Hi, Jackie.
Good morning to you, Dan, and indeed it is CERA week. I am here with Tom. Let's talk about the underlying oil price, because there's been a lot of chatter on the floor that we are starting to see some stabilization, that there's this gravitational pull around 50. There still could be some volatility, but that it wouldn't be shocking or significant. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think we're getting to a point of stasis, and most of us believe that the highest prices for crude oil are going to occur in the second quarter and perhaps the early third quarter when you get some real demand for gasoline. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a cup of coffee above $70 a barrel and to see WTI go to, let's say, the low 60s or something like that.
Okay. Let's talk about that and how it translates to gas prices, because you feel that we've seen a critical inflection point.
Yeah, I mean, we just crossed $2.50, actually crossed $2.51 nationally, and that includes a lot of states that are much higher than that. You might say that we're sort of at the point of the presidential Twitter kind of precipice where the president may feel incumbent upon himself to try to talk down the price. That has worked in the past for about a day or so, but I don't think it's going to necessarily work in the future. What he does with Iran and what he does with Venezuela will have a lot more to do with what happens with gasoline prices going forward.
Okay, so last night you and I both attended the session with Mike Pompeo. He talked about Iran, and that was probably one of the key takeaways.
Yeah, that was real tough talk. I mean, he said they were still absolutely determined to see Iranian exports go to zero. If that happens and we don't have a macroeconomic slowdown, then we're going to spend some time above $70 for Brent and above $60 for WTI, and we may see gasoline prices get to $3 as opposed to stopping short at about $2.95 last year.
And $3 isn't out of the question, given that it's $2.50, as you said. We crossed that mark and it's only March, right? We're heading into summer driving.
Yeah, and there's a real geographic disparity. If you live in the left-hand side of the country, I would say, there's a good chance you're going to pay about what you paid last year or well above $3. If you're in areas served by the Gulf Coast, where we've added 2 million barrels a day of refining since the 20th century, then you'll see more modest prices. I still think it's going to be a relatively cheap year and not like that 2011 to 14 period.
Really quickly, you mentioned the president's tweets. It's been remarkable. They may be losing a little power in terms of the international community, but you've got OPEC that just cut about a little bit less than 2 million barrels. U.S. production now over 12 million barrels a day. There's something remarkable here, right? They're cutting and we keep pumping.
Yeah, they are absolutely sort of providing the capital for the United States to have the most explosive gains in oil production ever. We're looking after this conference and ending the year probably with well over 13 million barrels a day of production of U.S. crude. So we are the largest crude oil producer now. We may be the largest crude oil exporter or surpass Russia in a few years. And a lot of that is being underwritten by this OPEC policy of cutting production to keep prices high enough.
Yeah.
One thing I want to mention too, and at this conference has been heard, is that the cost of finding crude in places like the Permian Basin is 1/3 of what it was for the first shale boom.
And Mike Wirth from Chevron yesterday said that overall costs have come down almost 50% from just a few years ago. That pressure when oil went to 25, but those cost savings they maintain. So when you go back over 50, these companies are profitable in a nice way. Tom, really great to see you. Thank you so much for your time.
Nice to be here.
Dan, I'm going to send it back to you in New York.
All right, thanks so much, Jackie. Good stuff on oil.